Hi, I'm going to talk about what a product knowledge base is. If you're a SaaS leader or are involved in building a startup, maybe in marketing, customer education, customer service, it may have become apparent to your team by now that you need some kind of knowledge base, right? That serves the purpose of educating your users, or some people call a knowledge base a help center, and there are other synonyms that you'll see used to refer to what a product knowledge base is. So today I'm going to clarify what a product knowledge base is, tell you a bit more about the other synonyms used, and tell you what a product knowledge base isn't, and why you want to have one and how you can make one. So without any further ado, I'll get started. So a product knowledge base is a body of searchable content explaining how a product works, and so this is typically a product, software product, and I'm talking about this in the context of a software product, and essentially it's a body of searchable content that helps users learn and troubleshoot how a product works. So if I'm encountering a new product called Loom, which is what I'm using to record this video, then I probably want to learn how to record. And so Loom, depending on the so Loom does have a product knowledge base, and I guess to quickly just show that on as an example. So if you look at my screen right now, you'll notice that this is Loom's product knowledge base, and what Loom kind of did with their knowledge base is instead of taking a very traditional look, and sort of structuring of content, they more so have a blog on which they also make announcements about the product, new developments that they've had also as a startup. Within that blog, it's where they also post educational articles about their product. And you will see a bit later that that's actually not the best case practice, but since Loom is something that has been trending, I just wanted to put a knowledge base in front of you to a product that you probably will be familiar with, because I'll be showing you examples on products that are not so popular, and hopefully I'll throw in another popular example along the way. But yes, so a product knowledge base is a body of searchable content, and the purpose of it is to help users learn and troubleshoot. Now the goal of a knowledge base is to make sure that the users understand and are using the full value of a product. So understanding all the features, all the possibilities, and are they equipped with knowledge about those features so that they can achieve what they want to and what they're hoping for with your product. Let's talk a little bit more about how SaaS, what I'm seeing SaaS teams or leaders do wrong in terms of how they think about a knowledge base and the problem that a knowledge base solves for your product. So of course you create a product knowledge base because you want to make it easy. You want to sort of close a knowledge gap between that exists among your users, right? As seamless as your user interface could be, your users may not know where everything is and and all the possibilities on your product. And so you want to close that gap and do education and do educating with your product knowledge base. So what I'm seeing SaaS teams do is rely entirely on marketing coming up with creative content and somehow doing that educating through their marketing, when I really wanted to make this a clear point in this video, because marketing and knowledge base or documentation, which is essentially the process. Documentation is the process of creating content and gathering that information that would exist in a product knowledge base. What I'm seeing is SaaS teams are relying on marketing to take care of creating a knowledge base, when a marketing team approaches content creation with a mindset of selling and not really just plain and simply explaining how a product works. And so that's where I see SaaS leaders sort of misinterpret, or not misinterpret what a product knowledge base is, more so how they're choosing to address the clear need of knowledge, educating your users. They're choosing to sort of delegate that to marketing instead of strictly focusing on a knowledge base. And, unfortunately, most marketing teams also then, end up tackling this in a very markety way instead of trying to build something like a knowledge base, or that is just exactly a knowledge base. So that's just one thing I wanted to stress. And maybe if you're a SaaS leader yourself, you may pick up on what I'm saying and want to look at within your team and see, well, how are you guys addressing the core need that a product knowledge base solves, educating your users on your product. Are you relying on your marketing team to do that? Is it customer support? And are they solving it in a way, are they solving it with a knowledge base, or using diverging and sort of like less effective ways to solve this problem? And then we'll look at knowledge bases in a bit, which will make it easy for you to assess how you guys are currently, to look at your current efforts and see how you're doing there. All right, so without any further ado, let's look at some knowledge bases, because I think it's time we put a face to the concept. So one of the knowledge bases I really like and I think can be easy to show is, let's just look at Microsoft Office. So we've all used Microsoft Word, I am sure. And so I'm just going to quickly pull up a Microsoft Word knowledge base, and which will really put so much clarity as to what it looks like, how, what is the body of content that helps users learn and troubleshoot, right, a product. Okay, so all right, so I have it up on my screen now, and on my screen what you'll see here is, in essence, a single article for the Microsoft Word knowledge base. And so what does that mean, right? This article is about inserting pictures, and it literally gives detailed step-by-step instructions on how to insert pictures on Word. And as you can imagine, Word is a tool that we've probably all been using for over 10 years now, a few years, depending on how young you are as a SaaS leader. But, in essence, you still don't necessarily wake up knowing how to insert a picture on Word. And that's why you need a product knowledge base, and why Microsoft Word has a product knowledge base. And, you can sort of, I guess we can go back to the main menu here to see how, the entire learning experience starts out. So, you see a basic menu here where there's collaborate, insert text, pages and layouts, pictures, save and print. And once you click on any of these, so these are categories within the knowledge base, clearly. And so once you click on any of these, you'll start getting closer to specific article ideas, articles that exist, educating you on very specific functions, right, within the realm of the category that we've opened. So format text, you can see apply styles here, and once you click on that, there's both a video. So some product knowledge bases incorporate multimedia, so not just text, but there's a video here that you can play, and the video would sort of visually demonstrate how applying styles works. And then, over here as well below, you see a text version of the instructions, which isn't actually hefty. You see that it's very plain, simple, straightforward language. It's not a story. There are no paragraphs, just one line with steps, kind of bulleting out what you need to do in order to apply styles to a Word doc. And then the video itself, which I'll just enlarge quickly, sort of visualizes that entire journey. It's only 40 seconds, and that speaks to how short, content within a product knowledge base, this searchable content should be. It should be very searchable, And I hope you paid attention to the navigation experience we just looked at here, whereby, from from the sort of main page, we had evident and relatable categories that any user who's coming on here looking to learn something about Word can quickly say, hey, my problem that I currently have probably lies within the text category, right? Because I'm thinking about how to change a font or something like that. And there we go, add and format text. So this is probably where I want to go if I'm thinking about, changing a font or something of that kind. And then, and so then, you have an article with subheadings too. Sometimes that's a neat way to organize thoughts and break them down. So that is, a nice introduction to a product knowledge base. I'll quickly skim through a few more as well. So there's one that I've personally developed. So this is a product knowledge base for a product called Drop-in Blog. Drop-in Blog is a product that allows you to quickly embed, just by copying a simple piece of code onto your website. You can embed a blog, and the blog would pop up, showing the different articles and categories, even if you'd like, within your blog. And then wherever you embed it on your site, that's where it opens up the shop, just like this. People would see maybe categories or different articles, your latest articles. They click on them, they can view them, and that experience will appear to be embedded within and part of your website. And of course, you can see how that's super useful. Anyway, to get back to their product knowledge base. So again, how to manage and post on your blog, how to use Drop-in Blog DIB, getting started, plans, their subscription plans, different questions people have, because again, embedding code and websites, people have so many kind of like initial fears or worries, right, that they have. And so what we did when getting started is create an article that kind of addressed those basic questions that customers keep having, that are actually not even problems when it comes to using this product. And that's the value of a product knowledge base, because you don't only get to explain the how-to, but you also get to conceptually address different things and stigmas perhaps about your product, clarify different things in a centralized way, whereby, if it's just you expecting your users to expecting to direct your users to your knowledge base and then have them surf it on their own, or if you want to create a knowledge base to empower maybe a customer support team that you have within your organization, then they can leverage that to give consistent information, responding to some of these conceptual or more high-level questions that people might have about the product and its functionality. So can Drop-in Blog support post categories? You have some questions like, can I include images and videos? Maybe meeting this new product, you might think that it doesn't really have the multimedia option, like you can't have videos and images within your blog posts. And then there's questions like, social sharing buttons, is that an option? What about SEO, right? So we address those questions early on, and we neatly put that into getting started. And again, I think that just kind of emphasizes the educational experience that you can deliver to your users, whether that's allowing them to serve the product knowledge base directly, or relying on maybe on a customer support team or other internal teams to leverage it as a resource for external communication. So let's then talk about quickly, right, pros and cons. I know we've kind of touched on those throughout my whole discussion about or presentation of the two knowledge bases we looked at so far. But let's talk about how pros and cons of a product knowledge base. Why should you get it? Why shouldn't you? Or what's sort of like a tricky or the different challenges you may face as you build one. So let's start out with the pros. So again, you make your product's features very clear in terms of what they are and the functionality thereof. And again, that's whether you're creating a product knowledge base for external users, for your users to use, or for internal teams to use to learn and understand your product, then they will definitely be very clear on what and the functionality of your features and different things you can do within your product. And it gives users confidence in having a seamless time using your product. So many people, one of the key reasons why we educate people on product knowledge bases is because all startups, whether early stage, brand new, or even large organizations like Microsoft, they all need to acquire and retain users. And one crucial way that you can acquire and retain users is through great customer service, right? And I guess a product knowledge base is part of that customer service experience that you can deliver to your users. And so if you really are looking to give users confidence, maybe when they are early on learning about your product or having that free trial that you're offering, a product knowledge base, once it exists, especially when your product is very novel, it kind of gives them that confidence in how they can make sure that they're leveraging and using the full value of your product. And then again, it declutters, one crucial element actually, or reason why, is that it declutters your customer support channels. And it eliminates the need thereof in some cases. So, if you have a great product knowledge base where you tackle things like, for instance, in Dropping Blog's case, the very question of how can I add images and videos to my blog. So now let's imagine this is a brand new user. They don't necessarily want to go through the pain of sampling, doing a trial on whether they can add a picture, or an image or video, or they're not sure even how to do that in the first place. So instead of having your customer support team, who you're paying money to hopefully help your customers, instead of having them answer very basic and simple questions, these can be neatly organized and addressed in a product knowledge base, therefore only allowing your customer support team to deal with very urgent customer issues, or altogether not need to have one. And then again, internal teams can if you build a product knowledge base, you can build it also for internal teams who can help them achieve a lot of harmony in terms of understanding the product, whether that's maybe teams like marketing, maybe even your legal team, right, who really need to gain strong mastery of what your product does when it may be that the product is a bit too outside of the scope of their usual work in their profession. And so maybe a product knowledge base can help bring that kind of internal education as well for your team, and so that's another sort of reason why. Let's look at why not to have a product knowledge base, or the barriers you face. One of the key barriers is that it is really, really difficult to set one up. Gathering all that knowledge, which by the way is sort of a process we call scoping and inviting all knowledge experts to pull together the knowledge that needs to be dispersed or shared about your product knowledge, about your product itself. That's very hard. People don't have as much time to sit down and detail every single detail about how the product works, what it can do right now, what it cannot do, and different things you want to caution and tell your users about, or whoever the target audience of the knowledge base is, right? And then again, it's also hard to architect once you have all that knowledge, or should acquiring the knowledge about how it works not be complicated. It's people find it hard to architect or structure this information then into effective articles. So some articles will be long, some articles will maybe not be formatted consistently, so it makes it hard to make the surfing, the experience of searching or consuming this knowledge base easy and appropriate, because sometimes teams or users have a very short time span in terms of how much time they want to spend looking for content, versus trying to decipher and understand what an article is trying to tell them. And then again, internal teams, so whoever, just not just users, right? Anybody who you're designing a knowledge base for has a very short time span in terms of what they're looking to spend trying to understand what they need to understand. And so structuring that information after going through all the pain of gathering it can be a challenge. And that's why many people who are facing the problem of documentation, education, about educating somebody about their product, that is typically why they veer away from a product knowledge base project. But it is definitely worthwhile, as you could see from the different reasons we gave as to why you should probably set one up. I'm just quickly going to talk about, lastly, I know this video is going quite long now, I'm just quickly going to talk about the different product knowledge base solutions that are out there and what you can use to build a product knowledge base. And I know I think it's a bit too long now, the video, but I will try to keep it short, and we'll put out another video that covers probably each of these product knowledge base solutions extensively, or maybe just focuses on all of them. But without any further ado, let's quickly get started on that. So the first product I'd like to talk about is actually the most popular one, Zendesk. And Zendesk is a product knowledge base software. That's what they call themselves. And sometimes, again, there are other synonyms for product knowledge base or a knowledge base. There's a help center, there's a help site. I've also heard people say product wiki. So those are synonyms that people use to refer to, I think, the best possible term, universally kind of the one that makes the most sense, which is a product knowledge base. Right. So with Zendesk, you can basically build a product knowledge base that is quite powerful, and on one of the most popular services, large products that like I can't necessarily think of ones right now, but very large companies and products that you probably use Zendesk to build their product knowledge bases. And one of the cool things about Zendesk is that they have so much more services beyond just the knowledge base, that it becomes a strong go-to for people, because you can have your customer support ticketing system as well with Zendesk. They have that option, and so they allow you to basically integrate. They allow you to basically integrate, your knowledge base together with your customer support ticketing system. So your customer support team operates through Zendesk software. That's how they manage tickets, and then at the same time, that's where their knowledge base is. And you can imagine that Zendesk and other knowledge base software that does this allows interesting and very helpful kind of integrations between your customer support operation and your knowledge base, whereby maybe in a chat or as customer support agents address customer needs, they're able to neatly reference and quickly search the Zendesk knowledge base, because it's all on one platform or built with one company. And other few that I'll just quickly talk less about are Crisp. So Crisp is a knowledge base software as well, and like Zendesk, they also have extensive customer engagement and support products as well. So again, they also have a ticketing system, but a Crisp. So just to put a face to it, right? This is a Zendesk. This is a Zendesk knowledge base. So what you see here is a Zendesk knowledge base. It always kind of has the same URL, and you can tell by the URL, zendesk.com. It's usually part of the URL. And then the last one that I'll talk about, so this is Crisp again, one of the options you have. So the last one that I'll talk about is Hubspot. So Hubspot, I'm sure you've heard about it before. Hubspot does a little bit more than Zendesk and Crisp, where yes, HubSpot is a knowledge-based software. They do have customer support, stuff, but I think HubSpot takes it a bit further, where they also have stronger CRM services, right? Where it's not just about necessarily customer support, but really CRM, and then also beyond that, marketing services that I know HubSpot has. So with the general difference you're getting, across the different knowledge-based solutions, honestly, is really just a different look and feel, and integrating with what you're already using. Perhaps if you use any of these products, which is likely the case for all the startups who are considering a product knowledge base. By the time you're considering one, you are very likely already using either Zendesk or HubSpot, and then maybe even another product like Crisp. But I'll leave it there. I'll make another video talking a lot more about knowledge-based software. But for now, I hope that was helpful. I hope you now know that a product knowledge base is a body of searchable content that helps users or any other target audience learn and troubleshoot a product. Typically, software products need this more than any other kind of product. And I hope your product, if you have one, becomes less confusing for whoever you'd like it to be clear to.